Welcome back to also cybersecurity episodes with Cyberqueen. Most SOC teams feel overwhelmed by alerts scattered through email, endpoints, and cloud apps. And yet, they're also worried that they might miss that one alert that really matters. In today's video, we're getting hands-on with Microsoft Sentinel. This is your cloud-native SIEM and SOAR capability. So we'll compare what you can do on Sentinel when you have an E3 license versus when you have the extra power with E5. So by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to set up your connectors, build dashboards, and automate incident response without drowning in the noise. Hi, I'm Venicia. I'm the founder of Cyberqueen, a cloud security architect and a Microsoft MVP. Together with Also, we bring you cybersecurity insights packed with the latest news and diverse perspectives. Also is running a series of webinars focused on security where you can dive deeper into Microsoft solutions and hear directly from industry experts. The security series includes both on-demand videos and live webinars, so you'll find all the links to the webinars and other learning opportunities in the description. Make sure that you register for these and take full advantage of the learning opportunities. And as always, definitely make sure to check out the Also Cloud Marketplace for more awesome insights. Let's kick off with some essential information. Microsoft Sentinel is a cloud-native SIEM and SOAR solution. So Sentinel scales on demand, so you never have to be caught short when it comes to log volumes that may potentially spike. Then Sentinel relies on pre-built integrations. These are called data connectors. So you can have a data connector for Entra ID, Office 365, Microsoft Defender, firewalls, and so many more. There are also workbooks and dashboards readily available in Sentinel to help you visualize alerts, trends, and anomalies with templates that you can deploy virtually in seconds. The system also heavily relies on what you call analytic rules and hunting queries. These are built on KQL queries, so Custo Query Language, that helps you search into alerts or do ad hoc investigations on Microsoft Sentinel. Now, today we're going to talk about hooking up different data sources, particularly in the product set when it comes to E3 versus E5. Now, Microsoft Sentinel itself is not reliant on whether you have an E3 or an E5 license across the other products in the Microsoft portfolio. However, when you have E3 and when you have E5, there is a difference in how much you can do on Microsoft Sentinel. We're also going to talk about the dashboarding and the custom workbooks and what is available for you to use virtually within a few hours or a few days once you've started your Sentinel setup. Automations are key when it comes to security these days, and of course automations and playbooks go hand in hand together to help with organizational incident response. And then there's also the integration with Microsoft 365 together with Azure to get the data into one single place. In order to get the data into that one single place, we definitely first have to connect the data. So if you have an E3 capability on your Microsoft tenant, then you get the essentials. So this is identity sign-in logs, Office 365 activity, Defender for Office, 365 Plan 1, and you can also add custom data connectors at any point. This is non-Microsoft native data connectors at any point to Sentinel. However, when you have E5, you can unlock the full potential of specifically the Defender suite. So this is Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Identity, Cloud App Security, and you get much richer telemetry like process trees, lateral movement signals, and user risk events. Now, a pro tip definitely when it comes to connecting your data is to make sure that you start small. So pick 3 connectors, make sure that the data is flowing, and then onboard more connectors once you see the value of Sentinel. Next, we have to make the data look good. And this is where dashboards and workbooks come in. So Sentinel has powerful built-in templates. These are quick templates like your Azure AD sign-in summary or the malware detections over time. These templates give you instant insight, and the cool thing is you basically just click deploy and you have it readily available. Then you can also create custom workbooks, and these are as easy as creating a new workbook, pasting in your relevant KQL query, and then dragging this into charts or maps directly in that new workbook build window. As an example, you can track failed MFA attempts by country with a custom query and add this as a table to a workbook. Let's say you are a retailer and your aim is to map failed logins or point of sale logins by store. If there is a sudden spike at 3 a.m., this could mean credential stuffing. So this is great to track these failed logins in workbooks. And then of course, we can go a step further to the fun part, and this is automation and playbooks. So automating incident response and working with playbooks in Sentinel. Now, a playbook is just an Azure Logic app that fires when an analytic rule triggers. Now remember, if we go a few steps back, these analytic rules are search queries that is built in based on KQL query language that helps you to detect a sequence of events or one single event. Now the playbook is the logic app that helps to take an action when that analytic rule triggers. In E3, you have of course the standard connectors like Office 365 or Azure Resource Manager, and an example that you can track here with the playbook would be moving of a phishing email to quarantine and then pinging the SOC. So with that Office 365 connector, if you identify a legitimate phishing email coming through, then you can automatically have a playbook that quarantines that email and then notifies the SOC to take an action or to do some further investigation on that. From an E5 perspective, these supercharge the playbooks and automations because we now have access to the premium connectors and in turn premium data. So here we're talking about Microsoft Graph, or we're talking about third-party APIs, even ServiceNow. So as an example, you can detect ransomware. Then you can isolate that specific VM. You can also then suspend the user, followed by resetting their password, and this can all be done automatically. A pro tip or a suggestion for automation is to definitely start first by automating your top 2 or 3 incident types. Don't try to automate everything all at once, otherwise you may drown in complexity, but take what you're doing on a repetitive basis or what your SOC is doing operationally and definitely look at how you can start using Sentinel's playbooks to automate this, especially if you've managed to get a good amount of data either from Microsoft native sources or from other custom sources that you have inside of your organization into Sentinel. Let's recap some of the best practices here when it comes to deploying your first Sentinel instance and getting this up and running so it actually brings value to your organization and it shortens the time to value of the Sentinel deployment within your organization. We're definitely not just looking to deploy Sentinel as a glorified security event viewer or a logging tool here. The purpose of Sentinel is to make your security operations smarter, simpler, and way more effective, and to reduce your time to respond significantly. Now, the first best practice is to pilot first. So test everything, connect a data source or a few data sources, and then first test if the data type that you ingested into Sentinel and Log Analytics is valuable. Test if there are valuable rules and use cases that you can create based on that data type. Use templates. So for instant dashboarding, there are hundreds of analytic rule templates already created based on the data that you connect into the platform. You can use instant dashboarding, but using these templates will significantly reduce your time to value when you first start deploying Sentinel. The next one is to automate wisely. So don't try and automate everything at once. You might become overwhelmed by trying to simplify your operation. Focus on high demand tasks and high impact incidents. An incident where you know that you'll definitely have to have a look at that and it is a true positive incident once it triggers. That is the incident or the alert that you want to build a playbook based off of. For example, if you use Active Directory within your organization and there is any type of golden ticket alert, that is really important to get notified about. So the first action can be notified, and then you can have your SOC analysts either automatically assign this to the relevant engineer that needs to look at this with high priority, and also keep notifying them of the time it's taking them to respond to this, because that is of course a high impact incident. Then it is important to continue to tune. So tune your system either weekly or monthly. Review your analytic rules and refine your KQL queries so that you don't get a lot of alerts. So we're not looking for a quantity of alerts, we're really looking for quality of alerts. And this is going to take you tuning the KQL to your requirement over time. Then integrate Defender if you are on E5 so that you can get the full picture. This really broadens the horizon and it allows you to get the full picture from the identity straight through the endpoint, straight through the application, and straight through the online apps that is being used and that is being picked up by Defender for cloud apps. Alright friends, that is your guide and step-by-step process on how to get started with Microsoft Sentinel. You can start with Sentinel whether you have E3, E5. There is no restriction here. There is no requirement for either. Sentinel is a cloud-based platform service. However, if you use the Microsoft capabilities from an E3 or an E5 perspective, then of course you can unlock the basics with E3 and you can unlock advanced hunting, automation, and visibility capabilities with E5. A little homework for you. If you are eager to get started with Microsoft Sentinel, you can spin up a Sentinel workspace. This doesn't cost anything, and especially for the first 30 days, you can just evaluate whether Sentinel is something that you can use within your organization. So spin up your Sentinel instance, enable 3 connectors, for example, your Office 365, or if you have E5, the Defender connector, or simply Entra ID identity logs. You can then deploy some templated workbooks and build a simple email quarantine playbook this week. And if you need any assistance with getting this up and running in your organization, remember to reach out to Also. They are here and they are ready to help you every step of the way. Next time, we are diving into Security Copilot and AI-driven security. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, remember to stay vigilant and stay secure.